anymore. The king told her if she could do more, she'll make her his queen. Out of a sudden, the little man reappeared. What will you give me this time? I have nothing left to give you. Then promise me to give your first child after you have become the queen. Mary knew she was just a poor farmer's daughter. She would never believe she would become the queen. Therefore, she made the promise, and the little man started to spin the straw. The next day, the king was amazed to see more gold. He was very happy and married her that very day. He did not ask her to spin any more. A year has passed. Mary brought a beautiful baby boy into the world. She had forgotten all her promise to the little man until one day the little man reappeared and claimed for the baby. Mary did not want to send her child away. She offered everything she had if only she could break her promise. She was begging and started crying. Very well then, you know how much I hate crying. I'll return 3 days in a row. If by the end of those 3 days you can tell my name, you may keep the child. On the first and second day, Mary gave him many names, but none of them was right. Later, she sent a messenger to give her more new and strange names. Unfortunately, the messenger said that he could not figure out any names, but he told her he saw something strange as he was passing by a small house on a high hill. What did you see? She asked. I saw an old little man with a long gray beard dancing around the fire. He was singing, as a bird has a wing, as a fish has a fin, she will never know. I am a Rumpelstiltskin. Mary was overjoyed after hearing that. He thanked gratefully to the messenger and sent him away with a pouch of gold coins. That night, the little man reappeared. Mary was pretending at first. Is your name Smith? No. Is it Jones? It is not. Then slowly she said, Rumpelstiltskin? The little man was shocked and screamed, How could you know my name? Who could have told you? Out of a sudden, Rumpelstiltskin disappeared. Well, friends, do remember that we can't simply make a promise to anyone if we're not sure about it. Thank you.
Okay. Boleh send, boleh post. Tolong hantar yang ni kepada link ni. Okay, good.
Timekeepers and audience of
Clear.
I stand before you today to tell you a story called Rumpel. Once upon a time, there was a poor girl named Mary who was locked in a room by a greedy king. The king wanted her to spin a huge pile of straw into gold. When she looked at the straw, she cried sadly. Suddenly, she heard a strange voice saying, I do not like crying. Mary was taken aback and saw an old little man with a long gray beard standing in front of her. Who are you? She asked. Never mind my name, he replied. What will you give me if I spin this gold for you? I will give you a neck.
Mana? Miss WhatsApp.
Ya, saya bagi you tolong hantar ke link ni. Mesti hari ni tau, you
Ni
lupa.
sekarang hantar lah.
Okay, you sibuk sangat.
WhatsApp ke tu?
Saya rasa dia ni dia kata letak Facebook, saya tak mau Facebook ni. Bagi dia tengok habis diri dia dulu lah.
Kasih dia tengok.
Judges, team timekeepers, and audience of
Dia
the
tim
floor.
tu.
I stand before you today to tell you a story called Rumple.
Kenapa?
Kenapa?
Once upon a time, there was a poor girl named
Tak
Mary
macam semalam?
who was locked
Bukan,
in
dia punya...
Mic habis
Mic-
bateri ada warna
bateri.
merah ke?
Tengok merah ke?
Kan habis bateri ke? Saya memang tak cas pun lupa pula.
Thank you
Oh, lain
to
oh.
the master of ceremony.
Biru ke? Tak ada warna merah ya?
A very good morning to the honorable judges, esteemed
tu suka-suka.
timekeepers, and beloved teachers. I stand before you today to tell you a story called Rumpelstiltskin. Once upon a time, there was a poor girl
Ada bunyi juga sebenarnya.
Mary who was a very good
Ada bunyi
morning
juga,
to
eh?
the honorable judges.
Tak perasan pula yang ni.
Thank you to the master
bunyi
of
tu lah, tak?
ceremony.
Tak ada, bukan. Dia punya...
Very good morning
Ada tempat yang
to the
macam tertelan, hilang perkataan dia.
judges
Ha.
and teachers.
Jadi clear, jadi
Today,
memang semalam okey.
I am going to give a talk
Tengok
on
habis sampai
healthy
hujung.
lifestyle.
Jadi okey, dah tengok.
It is said morning to the honorable judges,
Ya.
team
I
timekeepers,
think
and
S tu dah
audience
hilang,
of the
Ha.
floor. I stand before you today to tell you a
Yep.
story called
Tengok, saya tengok effect dah whole thing dah.
Once upon a time, there was
Yes,
a
yes, yes.
poor girl. Morning to the honorable judges, team timekeepers, and audience of the floor. I stand before you today to tell you a story called Rumple.
Ha.
Once upon a
Ui,
time,
hilang
there was
ni.
a poor girl named Mary
Tengok
who
buat
was
tu.
locked in a room by a greedy king. King wanted her to spin a
Tak ada
huge
bateri.
pile of
Tak
straw
ada warna merah.
into gold.
Oh, ada
When
kelip.
she looked at the straw,
Oh.
she cried
Ah.
sadly.
Oh, habis bateri
It
oh.
hurt a
Ayuh, nasib baik.
boy
Itulah saya
said,
tadi tak
"I
syok je
do
rasa.
not like crying."
Hmm.
Mary was taken aback
Kelip juga.
and saw an old little man with a long gray
Apakah
beard
sebabnya?
standing in front of her. "Who are you?" she asked. "Never mind my name," he replied. "What will you give me if I spin this gold for you?" "I will give you my necklace." So the little man took the necklace and started to spin the straw. The whirring and spinning made Mary fall asleep. When she woke up, the room was filled with spools of gold. She could not believe her eyes, and the little man was gone. When the king saw the golden thread, he became more greedy. He forced her to spin more straw, or she would never see her parents again. Mary started to weep because she could not do it anymore.
Mic lah saya rasa.
King told her if she could do more, she would make her his queen. Out of a sudden, the little man reappeared.
Baik, ni pun
"What
keluar
will
bunyi.
you
Ting
give me
ting.
this time? I
Semula.
have nothing left to give you."
Ini mak tadi ada mesej
Then
masuk, saya lupa
promise me
silent
to
pun.
give your first
Tolong.
child after
Tengok ni.
you have become the queen.
Tengok ni.
Queen told her if she could do more, she would make her his queen. Out of a sudden, the little man reappeared. "What will you give this time? I give your first child after you have become the queen." Mary knew she was just a poor farmer's daughter. She would never believe she would become the queen. Therefore, she made the promise, and the little man started to spin the straw. The next day, the king was amazed to see more gold. He was very happy, and Mary heard that very day. He did not ask her to spin any more. A year has passed. Mary brought a beautiful baby boy into the world. she had forgotten all her promise to the little man until one day the little man reappeared and claimed for the baby.
Kalau ya.
Mary did not
Hah?
want to send her
Rugi oh.
child.
Rugi
She
ni.
offered everything she had if only she
Eh?
could bring her
Kalau ya.
You mesti guna yang tak ada message in. Bila message
Nak
masuk
tu lah
dia
tadi
akan,
tak tutup je.
dia akan effect you punya tu.
You
Dia
know
akan
how much
Kacau kan. Sekejap saya tutup lagi tu.
dia rasa bukan mic dia pasal